to do this.
Mass Effect Legendary Edition has a release date. Ugh. Forgive my excitement and lack of a proper instructions, but I have been introduction. See, I can't even say words right, but I have been waiting for this moment for a long time, years even. I was but a boy when I first played Mass Effect. Now, I am a man. So we have a bunch of details to sift through in very little time. I mean, I kind of decide the time of the video, so... Not exactly, but either way, we have limited time. Anyway, I'm Ryan, subscribe, yada yada, who cares? Mass Effect is back, bitches! We got a new trailer, some new screenshots, and a few lists of what has been updated or changed from the original. All of what you'll see as the B-roll goes on as I'm talking, on top of everyone's favorite Mass Effect Andromeda. That was a joke, come on, it's a good day. Also, spoiler for anyone who is wanting or expecting a big overhaul of the games, it's not that. It's more of a plain as day remaster with visual updates and quality of life updates to boot. Alright. Let's dive into this, folks. Where do we even begin? The release date, May 14th, 2021. Yes, it's very soon. What does it entail? What's in it? What did it update? Let's head on over to VentureBeat for a brief breakdown on the changes. Mass Effect Legendary Edition is coming soon. It is looking promising. Electronic Arts developer BioWare are launching the Remastered Trilogy for PC, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One on May 14th. This will give players a chance to play through all three original games, plus all of their downloadable content in one place with improved visuals and gameplay. Here are the basics. Mass Effect Legendary Edition is a thorough remaster. It still runs on Unreal 3, but BioWare spruced up the engine where it needed to. BioWare focused the development on PS4 and Xbox One, so it runs in backwards compatibility mode on PS5 and Xbox Series S/X. It contains the first three games and all the DLC, but it does not include Mass Effect 3's multiplayer. And BioWare focused on improving visuals and gameplay instead of remixing story and characters. That's probably my biggest takeaway from all this. All the games are still on Unreal Engine 3. Project director Mac Walters explained the reason for this. One of the things we were looking at were changes to story and character, but that's so much a part of your memory of this that we took that off the table very quickly. Walter said during an online video presentation, we wanted to focus on two things. Let's get this ported and brought over to the current generation of consoles and get it set up for forward compatibility. Then at the same time, bring up all of the visuals. Look, personally, I don't know much about design issues or game engines, I confess, but it appears it was a conscious decision to not completely revamp the game series, more to give it new life with quality of life updates and visual upgrades and just bring it forward to the newer consoles. Now we're gonna jump on over to IGN's article for a bit more detail. Why am I looking to the left? There's nothing there. Kat Bailey writes, with a total remake out of the question, BioWare instead turned to enhancing what was already there. An AI up-res program was used to enhance the texture resolution by as much as 16 times, whereupon BioWare went through and touched up virtually every enemy, gun, and piece of armor across the first two games, and much of the third. The team also unified the customization options across all three games, including the updated version of Female Shepard introduced in Mass Effect 3, while adding new skin and hair options. So basically, there's more customization options, and Mass Effect 3's FemShep will now be available across all three games. Neat. By BioWare standards, it came together rather quickly, with Walters crediting former general manager and Mass Effect 1 project director Casey Hudson, who returned for a second stint with BioWare before departing again late last year, with helping to push it over the finish line. But the challenges of updating it have proven interesting, to say the least. Walters likens it to restoring a beautiful, beloved car that's been buried in concrete, with the team constantly uncovering proprietary tools written specifically for one version or another. With all the three games being unified in one release, BioWare had to be careful about making wholesale changes to elements like animation, calling it a house of cards that could affect every character across the game. So again, as you'll no doubt see throughout the video, hopefully you're seeing throughout the video, the visual upgrades are gorgeous and the lighting has been improved, but they're careful to emphasize this is a remaster of the trilogy, not a major overhaul. The animations were retooled or redone, and they didn't add brand new content or update it in that regard. Basically, what all this means is that BioWare wanted to give fans the remaster they wanted, but they didn't want to overpromise or seemingly try to remake the games or change them too much. It's a single release now, and they wanted all the games to feel a little more consistent from game to game, because obviously you go from Mass Effect 1 to Mass Effect 2 and it's a big jump. Hopefully that won't be as stark now. Essentially the way they're describing it is, well, if we do this, then it will change this, and then not make much sense with that, so it was easier to narrow the focus and focus on more, or make more specific changes rather. Now, personally, I never expected a complete overhaul. I really thought any thought of a major change or overhaul was kind of pushing it. I think what we were going to get is a bit more modest, but the one that needed the most work was Mass Effect 1 for sure. Pretty much everyone agrees. It needed the update. Bailey continues. It's been a trickier task than most would imagine. The first Mass Effect still has its share of fervent supporters who feel that the sequels dispense with too many of the RPG elements, such as stats-based gunplay, that define the original. Pretty much everyone agrees that the first Mass Effect needs to be updated, but doing so in a way that doesn't alienate one side or another is easier said than done. Look, they're all great games and I love them dearly, and honestly I don't think Mass Effect 1 has aged nearly as bad as everyone says, but okay, it's definitely needed the upgrade though, that's for sure. I'm not going to argue with anyone about it, I'm just saying personally, I don't mind it as much as everyone else. Lead environmental honors Kevin Meek is quoted as saying about Mass Effect 1, "With Mass Effect 1 gameplay, we had people who said we should throw it out and bring in Mass Effect Andromeda gameplay somehow," which I know everyone else would have loved, to people who said it was their favorite and we shouldn't touch it at all. What we've done is, through a series of small changes, remove all that friction, where cameras will be tracking nicely behind you and interpolating your movement, or entering into cover a little bit easier, being able to command your squad mates using your different keys where it needed to be. None of these move you too far away from the soul and what it was before, but it all starts to come together or combine together to a point where going back to the original game to capture footage feels clunky and hard to move around. It doesn't feel nice in comparison. I think if we had thrown out the system, we'd have definitely lost some people on the Mass Effect 1 is my favorite game side. I think 2, and by extension 3, has the most fluid gameplay of the trilogy. It also seems like they didn't, again, redo the whole combat system from 1, which hopefully assuages the fears of some fans, but they did make some modest changes to make it a bit more consistent. The changes are indeed numerous. Improvements include an auto-aim system, more consistent auto-save points, refinements to some of the more frustrating boss encounters like the fight with Benezia, the infamous elevator rides, who could forget those, which could take more than a minute in the original game. Now, they take fewer than 15 seconds, and can be skipped to boot. The once clumsy inventory system is now more in line with that of the PC version. And according to Walters, features additional improvements that are designed to smooth away the rough edges without tearing the whole thing down. The gunplay, another point of contention in the original game, has similarly seen major changes. Class-based aim penalties have been removed, meaning that a Vanguard can now effectively carry a sniper rifle. You still can't train up your weapons that are in your class, but at least you won't feel completely useless. Walter says, "The old one I always complained about was that you lined up someone dead to rights with your sniper rifle, and yet you still somehow missed." An experience to which many Mass Effect fans can surely relate to, me included. Yeah, so when I play Mass Effect 1, whenever I did again and again, I often debated playing the soldier class multiple times, because when replaying 1, I just feel it doesn't make sense to be carrying all these weapons and I'm legit useless with like 2 or 3 of them, or even 3 out of 4 of them. I'm glad even if you can't upgrade them, it's still viable to make some pot shots with a sniper should you choose to do that, without having to train up in that skill. Don't you worry though, the old aim cone is still there. It's just more generous than it used to be, Walter says. It feels more like the aim extension or aim expression is more tied to your ability and less tied to some number you don't see in the background. But for the most part, all the stats, leveling up, and managing your squad mates, we've kept true to that. Personally, I was really worried about the aim cone. I told everyone if there's no aim cone, just don't even bother releasing the game. It's still going to be the Mass Effect you know and love, but it will get that big update we always wanted, and it will feel more consistent, I think, from 1 to 2, and then of course to 3. Again, the remasters won't be available on current gen hardware, PS5 and Xbox Series X, but they will be backwards compatible with targeted next gen enhancements, like of course the ability to play in striking 4K at 60 FPS. If there's any reason to pick up Mass Effect Legendary Edition, it may be to experience the original game with fresh eyes. Certainly, this is the most attractive the original game has ever looked, running at up to 4K and 60 FPS with tone mapping, subsurface scattering, depth of field, I messed that up, depth of field, bloom, and all manner of other enhancements. Even the clumsy Mako, so long the bane of major combat engagements, is getting updated physics as well as improved controls. Long overdue. According to Walters, more than a few playtesters say that the original Mass Effect is now their favorite game. No more firing up the old Genesis comic to roll up a new character and move straight to Mass Effect 2. But, of course, you can do that as well in the Legendary Edition if that's what you really want. But I want to play the game, bro. It's gonna be awesome, okay? Awesome. Capital A. Woo! I will never woo again on camera, I promise. So to recap, we have updated visuals, lighting, updated gameplay for Mass Effect 1, all the DLC content will be included, 4K HDR resolution, better Mako controls, updated sounds, new customization options, including bringing over Mass Effect 3 FemShep across all 3 games. All exciting stuff. And you know what, I'm sure there's stuff that I missed, but as a Mass Effect fan, I will be honest, they could have handed me a turd in a case and said, here you go, and I would have been happy with it. I'm only slightly exaggerating. Only slightly. But really, that's just me. For anyone who had expected a larger overhaul, I'm sorry, it does not appear that this is what the Legendary Edition is, and I think BioWare has been pretty clear in all of these quotes that they didn't intend to remake the game or do anything like that. They just wanted to update the experience for modern audiences, and of course, old fans alike. So yes, even the endings are still there, we just gotta deal with it, folks. Also, Mass Effect 3's multiplayer is again not included because they wanted to focus on the single player experience. I know that some of you might be upset about that, but I'm a cold bitch, I don't care. I'm only joking, it was fun, mind you, but not saying it wasn't, but I can do without it. Like, really. But anyway, look, I know that was a lot of information. Yes, this is the quickest I've turned a video out on news like this because I love Mass Effect and I would die for it. No, I wouldn't, but I just like it a lot. But I know that was a lot, and I'm sure I am missing some stuff, but I hope you are as excited as I am. If you are, let me know what you think in the comments below. If you're not, then tell me why as well. That's gonna be it for me. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If not, a thumbs down. Subscribe for more content like this. Thank you for watching. I love you all, and I'll see you later.